Alrighty, well, it's time to move on to the Western Conference. After we just did the Eastern Conference, thanks for watching again, and let's get right into it. So, in first place in the Western Conference, we have the Phoenix Suns. They are 34-9. Missed DeAndre Ayton at one point, and they lost a few games then. But this Suns team is legit, man. I mean, watching them play is just so fun. Like, they've got Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Cameron Payne, who are good guys off the bench who can shoot the three, as well as Jay Crowder. He's not a bench player, obviously. And then Ayton is just one of the best finishing centers I think I've ever seen play. I just love watching him. He's also just a glass cleaner down low, blocks, rebounds, does it all. So happy to see him obviously excelling. And then you've got Booker and Chris Paul, especially Devin Booker. I think he's taken the role of their best player, just all business, knockdown player, just makes clutch shots. Just been incredible this season. So fun to watch. So this team is certainly legit, and honestly, they might be my total favorite. I mean, I would not belittle you if you told me you thought the Suns were going to win the finals. I could totally see that happening. And it looks like they're going to have home court advantage for most of it. Next up, we've got the Warriors. Again, like I said, I've been very surprised that the Warriors have been this good this year. Pretty much had the same team last year, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So, they added Moses Moody and Kuminga, and Kuminga's helped, definitely. He's had some big games. He had 24 points the other day. And then they're getting Clay back. So, yeah, I think this Warriors team is pretty good. I'm still honestly not sold on them. And I don't know, the West is really weird this year. I feel like the East is definitely more solidified, which is kind of strange, and it hasn't been like that in the past. Moving on to the Grizzlies, they're at number 3. The Grizzlies have been awesome to watch if you've been following them. Jaws had an incredible year, and they've had a lot of breakout players from like Desmond Bain. D'Anthony Melton. Let me see. Zaire Williams. Steven Adams has been helping them. Desmond Bain, though, is really fun to watch. Definitely a legit player. Kyle Anderson. Yeah, D'Anthony Melton. So they've just had some guys who've came out of nowhere and produced, especially Desmond Bain. And they've got some fun role players, which you love. And then we've got Steve Adams, Jaren Jackson. They've kind of built around their young draft picks and Morant and Jaren Jackson to make this a legit roster, which you love to see. Dylan Brooks also another one of those draft picks. So it's definitely good to see, and you love to see it from the Grizz. And they're definitely a formidable playoff team this year. Next up on number 4, we've got the Jazz. Not much to say about the Jazz. It's kind of the same team every year, same deal. They're very good in the regular season, and it's just going to come down to how they play in the playoffs. And usually that doesn't go too well. So, not to be a smart aleck or anything, but this is usually how it goes for the Jazz, and we'll see if they can step it up. But it's not looking like that. They got to prove me otherwise. I mean, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. At number 5, we have the Mavericks. For me, this is an absolute shocker. A mile and away, thought Luka Doncic was their best player, which is obvious. And he didn't really have any help. And they've had some guys who really stepped up. Brunson's been pretty good. Porzingis has been good. Dorian Finney-Smith has been good. I like Dwight Powell. I think he's a decent player. So they've had some guys that have stepped up, especially when Luka went down with COVID, that have helped their team win games. And Porzingis is definitely improved this year. He definitely had a better season than I expected and is playing pretty well. And then Dorian Finney-Smith is the other guy I want to shout out. He's had a really good season, has carried his team in a few games. Moving on, at number 6, we've got the Nuggets. Nuggets are a pretty average team, 22-20. like most of the East, and their roster is not that talented in my opinion. Um, they've got MVP Jokic. Jeff Green has been playing well for them this year, which you'll love to see. And then they got Aaron Gordon from the Magic. They've got Monty Morris, who's had a wonderful season. They've got Nishawn Bones Highland from Virginia Commonwealth. Shout out to him, who's having a good rookie year. And then, of course, Will Barton, who's been on their team for like 5,000 years. So they've got, a decent roster. Michael Porter's out for a while, I think out for the year. And same with Jamal Murray. I think he's out until the playoffs. So this is kind of a depleted Nuggets team, and it's honestly impressive that they're 22 and 20 with that roster, especially the roster how they have right now. I don't think they're dangerous at all in the playoffs, and I wouldn't, I don't think they're going to do much damage, but that's just me. At number 7, I love to see we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. So happy for them that this is finally all working out. Last year they had a roster that made sense and nothing happened. Nothing went well for them. This year it's finally kind of working out and it looks like they might make the playoffs, which would make me so happy. I love Anthony Edwards. I think he's the legit number 1 pick. And a legit budding superstar. I'm happy for D'Angelo Russell. I'm happy for Karl Anthony Towns. I love Naz Reid. I love watching him play. He's a great center, defensive center down low, great rim protector. Jared Vanderbilt, Patrick Beverly. I'm really happy for the Timberwolves, man. They've got their big 3. It took a while for them to assemble that. It's hard to get people to come to Minnesota too, but they've got Russell, they've got Edwards, they've got Cat, and they've got a decent roster, and they're finally cashing in on that. So I hope they make the playoffs, and I hope they can make a run. But I'm just really happy for the Timberwolves, to be honest. At number 8, we've got the Lakers. AD's been out for a while, so it's kind of been on LeBron's shoulders. He's also been playing the 5, which is so dumb. They just get pounded on the boards every night because of that. And they have Dwight Howard. So that doesn't make a ton of sense to me, to be honest. But again, I thought that Westbrook trade was absolutely horrible. They gave up a first-round pick and 3 really good role players for Russell Westbrook, who's not even that good anymore. Literally, that's the case. He's decent, but I just didn't like it at all. Melo has been decent for them, I feel like, as well as Malik. Nah, not really. I don't really know what to say about the Lakers. I mean, you hear everything about them on ESPN, and everyone talks about them all the time. I feel like you can't really evaluate them until they're playing with Anthony Davis and LeBron and Westbrook, because that's how it's going to be in the playoffs. But even then, I think they're probably a 7-8 team, maybe a 6, but I don't really think they could do any damage, to be honest, in the playoffs with their roster. I don't know. It's just not really working. At number 9, we've got the Clippers. They are 22 and 23. And that totally states their team, I feel like. They just have the most average team of all time. Paul George does not have a very good season this year. Let me actually look at their roster, a recent game. Nick Batum was a great pickup for them, so shout out to that. Amir Kofi, also love watching him play. But besides, they just have such an average roster. You can't really expect much from them, especially when George is out. It's such an average team. So and they're so boring to watch. So I don't know. Not too high in the Clippers, and nor should anyone be. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, and I'm surprised they're sustaining this pace, honestly. At number 10, we've got the Blazers. Dame Lillard is out for the year, and McCollum hasn't been playing. Is McCollum playing, actually? I don't know. Anthony Simmons has been good. Yeah, McCollum is playing, but Anthony Simmons has been good. Nasir Little's been good. So those are some bright spots. Some young players playing well for them. But they're definitely not going to make the playoffs. This Dame drama is going to escalate. I hope they get someone good in the draft. That's all I can hope for at this point for the Trailblazers. They've had the same team for so long, and it just hasn't been working, which is kind of sad, but that's the reality of it, which is too bad. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're in an incredibly tough spot. They have Damian Lillard, who's one of the best point guards in the game, and he's been pondering requesting a trade, and he hasn't been winning. So I can only imagine what he's gonna do. At number 11, we've got the Kings. Kings, man, and at the beginning of the season, I thought they were good. They are not. They just don't have a very good roster, to be honest. De'Aaron Fox is their best player, and he's pretty good, but he can't. I don't think he can carry a team pretty much to the playoffs. I don't know. Like he's a really good player, but I don't think he's good enough to like just carry a team to win go deep in the playoffs or like win a title. I think he's got to be the second best player. Halliburton's a great player. He's had a great season. I feel kind of bad for him. He's in this situation. Buddy Hield's good. He can shoot, but he can't play any defense. Harrison Barnes is washed. They have an awful bench. So they've got a lot of work to do. And feel kind of bad for them, to be honest. They haven't made the playoffs in ages, and it's not going to happen this year. So too bad for them. Moving on, at 12, we have the Spurs. The Spurs have an awesome roster, as I've said before. I like watching them play. I love Keldon Johnson, Derek White, DeJounte Murray. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. Jakob Poeltl. So fun roster to watch. Definitely need to add some more scoring. Just another star to that roster to help the scoring. And I think they need some leadership too, to be honest. Yeah, I mean they just need some more talent on that roster, to be honest. But they're a fun team to watch, and Greg Popovich definitely gets the most potential out of all of his players, which is good. At number 13, we've got the Pelicans. Pelicans are another dumpster fire. Zion isn't going to play this season, it looks like. He weighs like 330 pounds now. And Brandon Ingram, most underrated player in the league, absolute beast, is tearing it up. So happy to see that. But it looks like he also might get traded at the trade deadline, which a team should definitely hop on to. I think that'd be so sick if that'd be so sick if the Pelicans trade Brandon Ingram. Like he's such a good player. Like it would be so cool to see him on like a team that could actually win something or be in the playoffs. I think the Warriors are in prime position for that, to be honest. Like they could give him Wiseman, Moses Moody, Kuminga for Ingram, and like maybe somebody else, to be honest. Like the Warriors have the assets to do it. Would love to see them do it, to be honest. But besides for that, who else the Pelicans have that's good? Valanciunas is all right. Devontae Graham, but he hasn't had a very good season. Not much brightness for this old Pelican squad. So I feel kind of bad for him. At 14-15, we have the Thunder and the Rockets. Thunder, it's been great to see Gilgeous-Alexander. He's had a wonderful season. Literally seems like he drops like 30 points every night. Obviously they're tanking, but Josh Giddey's having a good year. He's definitely panned out as number 6 pick, so happy for them with that. And Darius Bazley's all right. Dort's okay. Again, I don't watch the Thunder all the time, so don't really know their roster in and out. A team that I do watch a decent amount, actually, is the Houston Rockets. I love watching Jalen Green, so fast driving to the basket. I think what he'll kind of be as a player is a guy who's really good at driving the basket, okay defender, and his outside shooting will be above average, but it will never be great because he kind of has a weird release. But nonetheless, he's a great player. Christian Wood has had a wonderful season for them. And he's a really valuable guy. I mean, he's 7 feet, can shoot the 3, and can rebound, play defense. Like he can pretty much do it all. No idea why the Pistons got rid of him. Eric Gordon's had a pretty good year. Still great 3-point shooting. Kevin Porter Jr. has had some really good games for them, which is a great flash for them. They found a role player in Garrison Matthews, gave him a nice contract, and he's been shooting threes well, so that's good for them. They've got Jay Sean Tate, who I think is okay. Kenyon Martin Jr. Alperen Şengün is interesting. He hasn't gotten a ton of minutes, but I think he's decent when I watch him play. So they're not going to be great for a while, but at least they've got some bright spots, definitely. But anyways, that's all I have for Western Conference. Update, I guess I'll call it. And stay tuned for my playoff predictions, which will come tomorrow. Thanks.